Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Swing Shift Trades. So for anyone new to this channel, a quick update. My name's Matt. I've been trading for about 4 years and I came from a background of zero knowledge up to being a profitable trader. So this channel is really for beginners who are interested in trading but don't really know where to start. So for those of you who want to find out more about trading, then this is the channel for you. So one of the most common questions I get is what charting software do I use? So I'll run through that and then we'll run through a bit of the detail just to get you up and running. So I'll run you through a bit of the basics about that charting software. And then importantly, we're going to link it to a paper account. That's pretend money. So that is really the arena where you can start to explore the markets and then place some trades. So the charting software is so important and you'll be spending so many hours looking at these. And over time, you'll get comfortable with looking at these like it's second nature. But what they really are is they're the interface between the market information presented in a way that's easily digestible, that we can make sense of. So in this episode, I really want to show you the basics of the charts so that you can get up and running and then you can place a trade using the paper account. So the first question you might ask is, why should I bother using a paper account, a paper trading account? And the reason's simple, is that when you first start trading, you will lose money. I'll say it a million times, is that trading is a dangerous game. So never trade with money you can't afford to lose, especially at the beginning. So please see my other videos for a bit more background on this, about expectations. I think it's in the previous video. And until you get used to using the software, it would be, in my opinion, pretty silly to go straight in and lose money or risk losing money. So in my eyes, it always makes sense to use paper money while you're using the software. And then later on in other episodes, we'll start to develop a strategy. And once you've got all those things in place, then you're in a position to start thinking about using small amounts of real money. So we have got a bit of groundwork to do. So let's hop over to the computer, shall we? So the first thing is, where do we start? So the software that I use is TradingView. So here's the link here. If you put it into Google, it's probably the first thing that will come up. Now, I'm not sponsored by TradingView, and I've been using it for about 4 years now, and it consistently gets good reviews, and it's a very polished piece of software. So if you click on that, you'll be greeted with this page. And what I would recommend, if you go down to pricing here, is you'll get a range of options. If I scroll down there. Now, for beginners, I would recommend getting the Essential plan, which is £12.95 a month. There is a free version of this, a web-based version, but it is limited. So if you're serious about trading, I would get at least the Essential. So in my experience, using my strategy, I only really need the Essential plan. Some others might need the Plus plan, but the Essential plan is a good place to start. There you get enough access to the charts and all the bells and whistles that you might need. So once you've paid for that subscription, you can actually download the desktop version of that software. So let's open it here now. I've downloaded it on my computer. And there you go. This is what might come up. So this is a basic chart. So again, I know if you're a beginner, this is going to be overwhelming. So don't forget, you're at the beginning of your journey. So you're going to spend hours and hours and hours on this software. So what I hope to do today is just take you through some of the very basics to get you started and to give you enough information that you can go away and play on it and get a bit comfortable using it. So those of you with experience with TradingView will already know what a great piece of software this is. Let's just take a walk through some of the key elements of this charting software to get you started. And what are these? What are all these icons? What are these candlesticks going up and down? What does it all mean? So the first thing I think I'll do is if we go up to the right hand icon up here and press the tab, what we'll see is a lot of these stock names come up, abbreviated stock names. Now, I haven't gone into depth about this, but I do, for the moment, trade stocks and shares. Now, there's a reason for that. Basically, I'm in the UK, and you can trade stocks and shares tax-free within something called an ISA. So that might change in the future. There are lots of other indices that you could trade, but for the moment, I use stocks and shares. But it doesn't matter what other indices you work with, the charting software is the same for all. The concepts are the same. So I've pulled up just some of these abbreviated names here, the companies that are available. So I use the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange. So more on that in a bit. So this is what you're greeted with. So up here, you've got the company that you're on at the moment. You can search through the companies using their abbreviation. Buy and sell buttons here. That's pretty self-explanatory. And importantly, you've got these candles. So these candles represent the price action. That's whether the prices go up or down. Now, there is an art in reading the candles themselves, but that's for another video that we'll go into. But you can get the impression from this, the price is either going up, going down, going up, going down. And that is, of course, how you hope you will make your money, is by looking at this price action, whether you can catch it, either buy and get it on a long position or a short position to make some profits. So I'll try not to go too fast here. So what you can also see is each of these candles represents a time frame. So if we go up here, we've got 1H, and that is a 1 hour time frame. So each of those candles spans 1 hour. Depending on what software plan you bought, you can have a 1 minute chart, 2 minute chart, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 4 hours, and you've got all these options. I do something called swing trading, and for me, I usually use the 4 hour charts. Day traders typically might use a shorter time frame, anything, well, the professionals might even go down to seconds or a minute, or 5 minute, 15-minute charts, something like that. But if you're a swing trader, you're looking for these longer swings up and down. So for that, it's normal, not always the case, but typical that a 1 hour or 4 hour chart is useful. So what you can do, of course, is you can scroll back and forward in time by just dragging this backwards and forwards, and you can use the price action, and you can use the wheel of your mouse as well, just to scroll in and out so you can get a better idea of what's been happening through time. So it's a very useful piece of software. It's really polished. So if we go up here again, what you might see is that there are different tabs here, one for candles and one for Heikin Ashi candles. So they're different ways of presenting market data. They've both got pros and cons. I actually use the Heikin Ashi candles just because it makes it easier to see the trends that are occurring. And when you're working over long time frames, like 4 hours, it's easier to see the trends and filters out some of the noise. So I tend to use Heikin Ashi candles. So we've looked at price action here going up and down for an individual company, and we've looked at what type of candles we can use and what those candles represent. So as you go through your trading journey, you will start to develop a strategy, and you'll add indicators and you'll have your theories about predicting what might happen. But at its core, really what you're trying to get used to is looking at these charts and looking at the action, looking at this price action. And when you've looked at these charts for hundreds and thousands of hours, because that's what it's going to take, you'll start intuitively to start thinking, oh, you know what? I've seen this kind of pattern before. I've seen this shape before. It gives you confidence to read the charts and then to develop your strategy more over time. So what else might be interesting for you? You can see here on the last candle, there's this horizontal line going across. So that is the current price. So 6.45, that's the current price of that particular stock. So that just shows where it is at the moment. So obviously if it goes up or it goes down, this will be reflected in the candles moving up and down. So when you get used to looking at these charts, one of the most important things to be able to do is mark up your charts. And that's where all these icons really come into play. I'll just give you a couple of examples, but we've got a trend line here. So a lot of people use trend lines in their trade. For example, they might draw lines. This is along the peaks here. These are lower highs, so it looks like it's on a bit of a downtrend here, and some people will buy when it breaks the trend line to go up. That's their strategy, but we'll go more into strategies a bit later. So that's trend lines. You can mark up your charts with lines. Get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. You've got all these different options here. You've got a ray tool that will just go on forever if you've got a long trend line that you want to follow. What else have you got? You've got these horizontal lines if you want a perfectly straight line there. So you've got all these options to mark up your charts. What you can do also while you're there is put it into your favorites. Then it's sort of transferred over into this tab so that they're easily accessible. You don't have to open all these all the time and search for the one you want. You can actually have your favorites already on hand, which is useful. Some of the other markups that I use commonly. So we've got the ray tool, we've just done that, the trend line tool. Actually, we'll go back to that for a second. They're also useful for watching price action. For example, let's have a look at these candles here. You might feel confident that it's going to go up. Or some of you might look at this and go, you know what, I think it's going to turn here and come back down. So what some people might do is use alerts. You can use alerts, and this is a godsend if ever you're looking for trades and you have to step away from your computer. For example, let's put a line in here. Going back to one of these trend line icons that I've just used, let's draw a trend line here. What's useful about these trend lines is that you can set alerts on them as well. For example, let's have a look at this. So here we can see if I was looking at this, you might say, well, the price action's going up. You know what? It might have reached this level of support here. So, the price might rebound and go back down, or it might continue to go up. So what you might do, for example, is just set an alert above here. So if the price breaks, you might think, well, you know what? I think it's on the way up. So what happens if you press the trend line, these tabs will come up. If you press the add alert icon, then you can set a notification. So in this case, it's crossing. You can put the message here and you can say might be on the up or any other message that you want, and then create. And that will give you an alert when the price action crosses that line. So that is really useful. So you can link this up to your phone if you've got TradingView on your phone. So no matter where you are, you can get the alerts. And if we go over here to this icon and press on this, this alert will now be active. I've got a number of other alerts here that are already going. So we've covered candles, the price action, and setting trend lines. So really important to get used to all those. So we're still on chart markups here. Let's get rid of this to keep it clean. So another tab I use a lot is the rectangle here. So why do I use this? So what I use this for is to mark out areas of support and resistance. Now, if you're brand new to this, you won't know what support and resistance means. We'll go into this in a lot more detail, but basically, resistance is at the top of a swing, so it's probably gone up to a high, it's gone down a bit, and then again it's hit resistance again, and then come back down. So here you can see this is support here. This is where the price action has hit a level, gone up, and then it's come back and hit that level again. That's a level of support before going up. So what the rectangle can do is help you highlight areas of support and resistance. So it makes it easy for you to read your chart. So a lot of traders, including me, use support and resistance, important part of their strategy. This rectangular tool really helps you to highlight those areas of support and resistance. And again, you don't want to overcomplicate it. They're just tools to help you interpret price action and to build your strategy. Again, let's get rid of these, keep the chart clean for the moment. One thing about these charts is that you are working with data. So if you have just downloaded this software, you will have access only to delayed data. And that is an issue. So if you're a serious trader, then really you want up to the minute data or even up to the second data. So to do that, you need the undelayed data. And unfortunately, like most things in life, if you want the up to the minute, the current, you have to pay a bit. And you can get this again through TradingView, this data, and then your charts will be right up to the minute, or in some cases up to the second. So I'll show you how to do that now. Because if you're swing trading, and certainly if you're day trading on short time frame candles, then you will need the up to the minute data. So how do we get this? Well, I can show you. So the first thing to do is if you go up to your icon here on the top left, that's your personal profile. If you click on that once and then you go to home and then you go back to products, scroll down and then you go to market data. And then you've got a choice of all these asset types. You've got, again, you've got all the different types of assets, stocks, funds, futures, forex. We're interested in stocks, or I'm interested in stocks. That might change in the future. So the ones that I'm interested in are the NASDAQ, which is here, which is £3 a month, and also the New York Stock Exchange, £3 a month. So really that gives you so many companies to work from. In the UK, we have our own markets, but they're not as dynamic as the US markets. So that's why many traders, even from international markets, will trade in the US stock markets. So if we close this, let's go back to the charts. So just to run through a couple more, this is just a simple arrow icon. So I use this a lot just for me to mark up my chart. So this stock, I might, if I think it might go up, I might just put an arrow there. It's just a reminder. So I actually use that markup a lot. And there are other final icon here. They're all very simple. This is just a pathway arrow if you think, the price might go up and down, then up. Again, it's just there for you to use as a tool, as in all these things. You can delete them as soon as they're not needed to keep your charts clean. So again, there's quite a lot of information. I don't want to give too much at this early stage, but we've looked at candles, we looked at the price action, we've looked at how to mark up your charts, and we've also looked at how to get current data. So that will be up to date when you install that data. So let's move on again. If we go to this top right-hand tab, it's very useful. It will open up another panel. You can open and close if you click on the left-hand mouse button again. So what we've got here is a watch list. So any trades or any stocks that you think might be useful to you, you can add to your watch list. So this will stay on there. Any stocks you choose will stay on your watch list until you choose to remove them or add to them or do anything you want to them. And the great thing is that all your markups will be on these charts and they'll stay on there until you remove them. So running through, what have we got here? We've got AVR as the stock. So you can change when you can see when I change stocks, the abbreviation name appears up here. So we're on AVR. So what can I say about AVR? Why is it on my watch list? Again, you can see this price action going up and down and up and down. So it's oscillating. So when you get an oscillating stock like that, it's pretty much of interest. So what I might say is that, you know what, this looks like it might be on an upturn here. So I wouldn't place a trade here until a couple of criteria are met. But you can see it's that experience of just looking for these type of trades that are oscillating, go up and down. They're the ones that might provide you an opportunity for a trade. And we'll go through this because this is a part of a strategy in later episodes. So for you at the beginning, your mission, or most people's mission, is just to get used to looking at the charts for different stocks and looking for this oscillation over time. And then if you can do that effectively, then you're halfway there. One other reason why TradingView is such a good package, I think, is because everything's pretty intuitive. It looks overwhelming at the beginning, but really it's not. Let me give you an example here. So we already know we've chosen this trade. We could scroll through, or this chart. So we've got AVR up here. We've just looked at this price action. What it does in the lower panel here, it gives you an overview of detail as well. So what they are, a technology company, health technology. It gives you the current price, some pre-market. We're in the pre-market at the moment, so you haven't got any trades on, the date, and a lot of key stats here. So you might not need most of this, but it's here if you want it. And again, it's got their earnings, it's got some dividend info. So there's a lot of info here. Past performance over the week, the month, 3 months, the year. It's all there if you need it. So I'm a swing trader, so I don't use this information very much at all. And I'll show you my strategy later in other episodes. That's for later, but it's just to let you know that all this information's here if you need it. So many people who use swing trading and support and resistance strategy are technical traders. So what that means is they don't follow necessarily all the news flows or all the news reports and the company statements, financial statements. But it is always wise, even if you're a technical trader, to look out for any breaking news because that might give support for you taking a trade. You get some bad news and the price might drop. It gives you a head up, it gives you a bit of information. So, this icon down here is news, current news. So always just before I place a trade, although I don't read all the company information and all the news that's going on across the market, I'll just check this. I'll check this for any headlines. So that might inform me. And that's why TradingView is good as well, because it collates some of this information for you. So you can just see what the headlines are. So for this one, Antares, it just gives you so the last piece of news released promising 30-day clinical outcomes from a trial. So that's pretty positive news, I would say. So is that how do you think that might affect the market, this price action? So again, that would inform your decision. So always before you place a trade, it's a nice little of extra information to check this news icon as well. So there's others here. These are earnings and revenue reports, but I don't actually use that very much in my strategy. Hope this comes across that this is a polished but versatile piece of software. So just going back to that watch list. So I've got a few companies at the moment that are on my watch list for me to keep an eye on. So there's quite a lot of information here, so you might have to watch this video again once or twice, but I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. You might say, okay, you've got this lovely watch list here. How do I choose the stocks to go on this list? That is a very good question, and I think that's one for other episode. And really, you can choose your stocks on using different methods. One of them is by using a stock screener. So this is what I use. I'll show you very briefly, but we're not going to dwell on this because it's for another episode. But basically, if you go to the top of your screen here, you can use other tabs. There's an extra tab button, and if you click on this, something will come up called screeners. So if I click on that and we're using stocks, so I'll click on the stock screener, it will bring up all these numbers, which again might look overwhelming, only it's not. So this is for another episode, but just to say, we're looking at the US markets here. Here are all the companies, and you can look at the performance in 1 week, performance 3 weeks, performance 1 month. And basically, you can change the characteristics to screen the market to pick out those that you might be interested in. So I might want, for example, the price range of companies to be between $2 and $6, which is what I actually do use for a number of reasons, based on volatility, really. And also, what's the change been in the last week? So I look for the upswing. So I'm looking at companies that have been going down for a while and they might swing up. So this just gives me some candidate companies that I can look through and then add them to my watch list. But again, that's for another episode, choosing stocks. So that will come a bit later. So I'll go through briefly. If you click on one, it'll open a new tab and you can press C on Supercharts. So I think we'll leave that for another episode, but it is important is how to pick your stocks, probably in 2 weeks. So let's close this and go back to the chart. So we're back to our parent chart. Instead of waiting 2 weeks for you to be able to pick some stocks, there is a shortcut that you can play around with for now. So if we go up to this watch list tab here, if you press and go down to the bottom, you'll see this open list. And if you go there, if you click on that, this window will open. And what you can do is press a button called Hot Lists. And that will give you some predefined lists of stocks for you to get playing around on. So you might look at volume gainers. We've got percent change gainers. So that's the ones that have changed quickly since the market opened. Change losers. You've got range gainers that have gone up over time. Again, losers. And so on. So you've got a few stocks there just to have a look at. So I recommend you just click on some of these and have a look. So let's go for the percent change gainers. So these are stocks that have been going up over time. So if you click on that, and that list will be populated for you. What I suggest you do for the first week, couple of weeks, is just to start getting used to look through these stocks. Pick the ones, and you can see this is obviously on a downtrend here, this stock, and you can zoom out again. We're on the 4-hour chart again. So on the 4-hour chart, you can see there's been quite a long history of these stocks going down in price. KZIA, again, this is zoomed out as far as I can go on the 4-hour chart. Started high, dropped low, and has been sort of ranging over time. It's gone up and down, but it's been ranging. So just get used to looking at these charts for the first week or two. So if we go up to the top, press the tab, and maybe we'll pick a different one. Let's pick the losers. So you can see here, you can expand and close this window. So this is the percent change since the market opened. And again, you can scroll through. And if you see any stocks that you're interested in, again, you can add it to your watch list. So again, just get used to looking through these, look at the trends. Maybe you want to play around with the chart timings. You're on 1 hour here. So you can see there's a downtrend here on the 1 hour. If we go to the 4 hour, you can see that downtrend looks smaller in comparison to the other history. And you can either go up to the month, what's happening over there. Let's have a look at the month. So this stock on the monthly chart is, it hit a peak back in February 2000, and currently it's much lower at 734. So the whole point of it at this stage is just getting used to looking at the price action. So I hope that makes sense and you're starting to just get a feel of this charting software. But there is no substitute for eyes on the chart. So do spend time on the charting software getting used to it. Just one piece of useful information before we go as well. You can see this icon, the sunrise, that means it's pre-market. When this turns to green, then that means the markets are open. So, of course, the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ are not 24-hour markets, so they've got open session and closed sessions. You can actually trade pre-market and post-market, but that, again, is really for another episode. So you might well ask, this is all very interesting, but how do I actually place a trade? I want to get started. So you've looked at your charts and you think, oh yeah, I know what's going to happen here. You think, I know what's going to happen. So I want to place a trade. How do you do that? That is the next stage that we're going to cover now, is how do you place a trade? All right, let's get stuck in. But before we do, let's just reiterate. So when you first start trading, it's pretty much universally accepted that you are going to lose money. So that is why, while you're learning all of this, it's a good idea, or I would say a great idea, to use a paper trading account first. So what's a paper trading account? It's account with fake money, but everything else is the same. So you place real trades using real market data, but it's with fake money. You can get used to the charts, used to making trades, and it gives you time to develop your strategy so you can bring it all together before you move over to using real money. It's so useful. I can't overstate how useful that is. Train yourself with paper money first. So enough of the rambling. How do you actually do this? So the first thing you will see down here is something called a trading panel tab. So this is really useful. So if you click on this, you'll get all these options. So for the future, you can link up your broker containing your real money directly with the TradingView software seamlessly. So you can actually place trades, real-time trades with your money. And there are many brokers that you can choose from. So again, that's a subject for another video that I'll be covering. But you can see this icon here on the left is really important. It's paper trading. So at the moment, I've got about $100,000 in there. I've got a trade going already, or I've just had one recently closed. So that was $70 profit. I'm in a trade at the moment that's $51 down. And also some other key stats, the available funds. And if you go down, it's got another number of tabs here, positions, orders, order history, all pretty straightforward. So do have a fiddle around with those. So I've got one position at the moment, which is long. If I press on that, it should come up here. So again, I'm minus $51 down at the moment. So here we go. So that's all very interesting. So I'm logged in to this paper trading account. So you can minimize that window and you can bring it up just by pressing the trading account here again and reduce. So this is a stock that I've got to trade on. It's practice money. It's not real money. So what you can see here, the price action went up, went down, went up, went down. It's sort of on the up. It's gone down and who knows, it might go up again. Right, so let's place a trade, shall we? So importantly, the market isn't open yet, so it won't actually allow me to place a trade, but I can talk you through the form. So if you press buy, this window will open up. So we've got the current sell price here, and also the buy price here. So it's 839. So let's buy 100 shares, shall we? So that'll be, it's risk USD per moment. I like the cost, which is 839, 100 shares. Now, you can set your take profit. So if it reaches a predefined area, it will close the trade automatically and take your profit. So me might want to take it here, which is 7.59. Let's not be greedy and we'll put 7.48. It's showing this at the moment because the market's closed, because it's going to be a bit glitchy. So it's not showing, that risk reward is showing as 91. It wouldn't be 91. It's because the markets are closed. So if we set our stop loss from this graph, if the price goes against us, what's the amount we'll be willing to lose? It's that simple. So we'll take it down here to just below this area of support, shall we? So 5.15, say 5.15. And the actual price, the risk, is US dollars. So the amount we would lose, our maximum risk is 324, and we would take profit at 7.48, which would be up here somewhere. It's gone glitchy at the moment because the market's down, so it won't be accurate. So all you would do after this has been filled in is press buy. And that is it. It's that simple, and you would have your trade. It's a shame the market's not open, but what I can do maybe is show you a trade that I already have open. So what you would see if you press the buy button is your take profit would be shown in green here, which at the moment is 105 USDs. This is for another trade that I've got going in my paper account. And the risk here was minus 147 USD. It's minus 60 down here. So if this goes up, it would break this level, then I'd be in profit, and it would automatically cut out when it hit the take profit. And of course, what you can do is track this on your mobile phone. So again, you've got control of this on your app as well. So it's a very powerful piece of software. It's really that simple to place a trade at the end of the day. So I hope there wasn't too much information there, but it was really just to get you used to looking at the charts, playing around with the software and placing your first trade. So I'll say it again, there's absolutely no substitute for looking at the charts, spending hours on the charts, and just getting used to looking at this price action, this oscillating in the stocks. For all you beginners out there, I really hope you're enjoying the start of your trading journey. And in the next episode, we're going to go into a bit more depth about actually how you choose stocks. Which stocks do I choose to put on my watch list? That's really important. And then in subsequent episodes, what we'll really go into then is how to develop your strategy. So that again is fundamental. Not only do you need to pick your stocks, then you need to put them in a strategy that you think will be profitable in the long run. So how do I develop that strategy? So we have got a lot to cover. So I hope you're enjoying this series as we go along. And if you do enjoy these, please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.